Hey, what is up, guys? So, I have Oliver's deck list here. He's the other Salamangreat play from Halifax, other than myself, who's now moved off that to play other TOS format deck known as Sky Striker. So, mine and his lists are actually quite different in the goal. His plays less hand traps than I do, which makes his list function slightly differently. Yes, it's been like a back and forth where I've lost certain matches to him, he's lost certain matches to me. 9 times out of 10, though, even he'll agree, most of it is who drew the better hand trap at the time, not who played Salad. He'll open a DD Crow that ends my boards, I'll open a Nibiru that ends his boards. It's how Cyber decks work now. But enough of that sort of conversation. Into the deck profile we go. Oh yeah. Also forgot, shameless plug-in now.
For a gaming cafe, we offer a safe and free-to-use space for anyone to come and geek out. When I was younger growing up, there was nowhere you could go and be a geek. You were frowned upon being a geek, you hide the fact you were a geek. And now I think being a geek is something you should be proud of. And there should be a place where you can come and say, hey, I'm a geek. We've only been open 6 months, but we've made quite an impact on people. We have people who come in who wouldn't have dared speak to anyone, and now they're coming in and they are thriving in our certain groups, winning competitions, making friends, and just all right, coming out of their shells. We are going to be building a sensory room for if you've got sensory issues like autism or anything, you can come in and bring your little ones. Halifax takes everything in its stride. Progressive, change come along, we go with it. Something stops you, we move past it.
Now actually into the deck profile we go. So he plays 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Droll, 2 Flame Buffalo, 2 Foxy, 3 Gazelle, 1 Jack Jaguar, 3 Salamangreat Fire, 3 Spinny, and 1 Weasel. So the difference to a lot of other builds that I've seen is he's playing Salamangreat Fire at 3 instead of playing Lady Debug, because even though Salamangreat Fire does lock you into special summoning only fires, he can still go down the access code route without using this or using Mirage Stalio, because the solid stuff just extends on its own, especially with the Promethean Princess. It can just extend and make all the resources that get you into what you need in the graveyard, as well as meaning that you can either have set up next turn for the Raging Phoenix, or you have resources to just hurt the field. Being locked into fires is not the worst thing in the world, because this deck just constantly re-establishes the board that it's got rid of, because everything more or less works kind of in the grave. So once you've got certain things, you have it forever. Also, the other difference is that he plays Buffalo, which not a lot of lists play, but it's like free drawing as well as free discarding. The theory behind it is in game 2 and that it's just a free side out for other hand traps, but if he goes first, it's a free draw set up from the grave, and it chain blocks the Bay Lynx so that they don't hit the Sanctuary, because the Sanctuary kind of does matter a little bit now. And then from there he plays the 1 Call by the Grave, 3 Signet Mining, 3 Circle, 1 Sanctuary, 2 Talents, and 3 Will of the Salamangreat, maxing out on all the draw stuff, because the thing is, yes, Droll does hurt, because if you get Drolled on the Signet Mining, it means that you don't have access to certain plays with Weasel, Salamangreat Fire, and other stuff. You can still play through it, it's just harder. But if you draw Circle, it's fine, because you do that on draw phase anyway, so yeah, that's okay. Then for the traps, we play the 3 Infinite Impermanence, 1 Rage, and 2 Raw. So it's interesting because like most lists play only 1 Raw, but I can see his reasoning behind it, because if you draw the Raw, you will search the Rage anyways off the Phoenix, and Raw is better because having access to just a Solemn Judgment at any point in time kind of makes the deck just function so well, as well as once it's in the grave it comes back, so yeah, that's a really good card. But beyond that, the list is kind of standard. There's 2 deviations that I've seen with Salamangreat anyways. The first one is the high hand trap lineup that maximizes on 1 card starters, so that you just get through the combo, and then you just have all the hands of stuff, as well as your grave is just fully set up for later on in the game. And then there are others where they play this way, they just want the consistency a little bit more, because there have been games where you can just draw a handful of hand traps and not draw into anything for quite some time, and then you just start to slowly lose off that. Then into the side deck is 2 Artifact Lancia, 2 DD Crow, 2 Kurikara, 3 Nibiru, 1 Fire Charmer, 2 Cosmic Cyclone, and 3 Summon Limit. Now, the Summon Limit is the one that I find the weirdest out of all this. Like, I understand the theory, because you establish a board, and then you won't summon too many times, and also, the cool thing is that you can go Foxy Pop the Summon Limit, so it buys you a turn, and then Foxy gets rid of the problem card on your field. But in the same token, if you're up against someone that does no Salad, which is a very rare circumstance, it becomes harder to actually achieve that, because they know what to hit and when to hit it. But again, it's coming across someone that's played against Salad quite often. Anyone that's playing Salad, well, there's only 2 of us at the locals, and the amount of times that I walked past and people just didn't know what the board was doing, so just kind of said, yeah, sure, whatever. And then looked at it and went, I know what the Raging Phoenix does. Don't know what the rest does, but I know what that does. Yeah, that's the thing. I've seen a lot more people playing the 2 Cosmic Cyclones. It's personal opinion, I guess. I prefer 3 over 2. The Fire Charmer in the side is the interesting one, though, because I see less of a reason for this to be in the side, because Ash Blossom is floating around the format. Attack of the Fire Nation is prevalent everywhere, so you kind of... having Heater in the main makes more sense, because it will always come up. And worst comes to worst, this is a card that you summon, ram it into something else to then get free access to a Salad from your deck, which is very good, and I don't really see a reason otherwise. As for the others, yeah, I get it. Kurikara is a great card. Sunlight Wolf adds it back constantly. Artifact Lancia. Yeah, I've been suggesting this to everyone at locals recently, because there are Runic players, there are Flu players, and yes, it does stop evenly. We all remember the back in the day where your opponent drops evenly, you chain Lancia, and then you just laugh at them for 10 minutes. But it is actually coming up quite often, because Soul Release is still a card, and other stuff that hit the graveyard, as well as Cosmic Cyclone. You just Lancia and you're having a good time, because your opponent has to establish some weird boards, because sometimes banishing stuff does actually matter. Obviously it doesn't come up all the time, but when it does, it really does matter. But yeah, the extra deck consists of a Mirage Thalio, Access Code, 1 Transcode, Decode Talker Heat Soul, 1 Link Decoder, 1 Promethean Princess, 3 Baylanks, 2 of the Raging Phoenix, 2 Sunlight Wolf, 1 Splash Mage, 1 Decode Talker, 1 Transcode Talker, and 1 Update Jammer. So the extras kind of standard. The only thing that I've seen different is some people don't play this. They play the Lingeribo, or they just don't play it at all, because your Splash Mage is how you make the Decode Talker Heat Soul, but similar sort of thing, where I've seen lists that don't play the Decode Talker Heat Soul, because if you summon the Salamangreat Fire, you can't make it, so it's just a dead card in your extra deck that could be played for other things like Typhon, and other fire removals. Hell, I've seen someone playing Nightmare Phoenix in there, because it gives... Sorry about the cold, everyone. Breakthrough mouth's awful. Because it's free draw, it's a free fire, and it's a free way to get stuff to the graveyard, so yeah, that is a thing. Beyond that, I don't actually think that there's anything that I would change personally. Looking at his list, it is quite solid for what it is, and it's built around the playstyle that works for the deck. Do I agree to all of the things in it? No, but do I understand why? Yes. But yeah, I think this is a pretty solid list, and it did quite well in the event anyway, so proofs was in the pudding there, so yeah, not really much else I can say on that, so I'll be signing out now. Peace.